Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks today. I'm going to have 5 NBA player props for you guys to lock in for tonight's NBA betting slate. 2 days into the first quarter king experiment, 2 profitable days. So we're going to have 5 plays all in the first quarter tonight. We're going to see if we can still try and become and keep being first quarter kings after that's how good the season has gone for this specific market. To give you guys a recap from yesterday before we can get into today's picks. Decent day overall. Gave out 5 picks, got 3 of those 5 to cash. Ended the day up 0.65 units. You know, part of the problem with these first quarter markets is you generally don't get super juicy odds. So yesterday, you know, we win 3 bets, we lose 2. We only go up 0.65 units. But hey, still had a day in the profit. We lost Cameron Payne over 3.5 first quarter points. This ended up just being a bad bet. He played all 12 minutes, which is what I thought. He only took 2 shots. He scored in the first 3 minutes of the first quarter. So I was just waiting on him to score one more bucket, but he didn't do it. And then we also lost SGA over 10.5 first quarter points. You know, his hit rate wasn't as good with both Jaylen Williams and Chet in the lineup. I still went with it. I probably shouldn't have. Granted, he came close. He had a 3 at the buzzer that rimmed out that would have cashed, but he didn't. Luckily, we did cash out Walker Kessler, Tobias Harris, and Evan Mobley, giving ourselves a profit on the entire season. That now puts our profit. We're up 28 units on the year, just above 28 units. Our ROI, just above 5%. Nothing amazing with those numbers, but hey, they've gone up the last 2 days since we really dove into this first quarter market. So we can see, we'll see if we can keep having success with this first quarter market. I appreciate everybody who's been rocking with me this entire season. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. What I have up on the screen here is Props Madness, my favorite NBA betting tool. As I go through the video, you're going to see how I use Props Madness. So if you want to sign up, I put a link to them in the description of the video, as well as the pinned comment. So our first play here, we're backing Justin Edwards and his first quarter point prop. Now, I locked this in at plus 100. Right now, you can get it at minus 105. I would still take it there. I don't have any issues taking it at minus 105. Obviously, if you look at the entire season, you're not going to be super impressed with Justin Edwards. He's only gone over in 11 of 38 games. But what do we notice? That the green is all within these most recent games. I think it's his last 11 games. He's hitting 7 of his last 11 games. Now, the scary part with Justin Edwards are his minutes. In the month of March, if we just look at the month of March, he's played about 8 minutes on average in the first quarter. Now, this game, a bunch of guys in the Sixers played who no longer play. That includes Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre. All those guys are out. But if we just take out Maxey and PG, we look at games specifically in the month of March. It's 6 of 10. So there's one game where he went over, where one of those 2 guys played. And the minutes, again, they're a little bit spotty, which is the scary part here. A game here only played 5 minutes in the first quarter. Another game here only played 5 minutes in the first quarter. But if we just look at the month of March, which is the most important thing here, averaging 8.1 isn't terrible. And then recently, he's been awesome, and he's been playing more in the first quarter. And this is really what we're going off of, right? These young guys on the Sixers, Justin Edwards. Look at all these guys who are out. It's just insane. Maxey, Embiid, Paul George, McCain, Oubre. Even Quentin Grimes is questionable, even though he's probably going to play. Lonnie Walker joined the team, got a concussion. He's out. Andre Drummond is out. Lowry's been out for a while. It's just an insane mash unit for the Sixers. And so these young guys like Justin Edwards are playing more, and he's been really, really good. Justin Edwards has been awesome. Last 3 games, 8, 11 points in the first quarter, playing 11, 9, and 8 minutes. And the most important thing here is the volume that he is putting up as well. You can look, if you look at the advanced filters, you just click Q1 FGA, Q1 field goal attempts, averaging 4 attempts in the first quarter. In the games in which he hasn't shot a lot, this one played 7 minutes. That's not terrible. But here, 5 minutes and 5 minutes. Took 3 shots. Took 2 shots. My guess is that he plays more than 5 minutes in the first quarter. I think he's probably going to play closer to the 9-10 minute mark. That is what he's been playing over his last 3 games. And again, he's been awesome. You look at his first quarter point prop, over in 7 of 11. You look at his full game point prop, it got bumped up to 16.5. It was 14.5 or 15.5 before. Now it got bumped to 16.5. He's only hit that number in 5 of 11 games, and even the 15.5 number is 6 of 11. Now, it's been 5 straight, which is really good. And one of those games, he didn't go over in the first quarter. That was another game where he didn't really play that much in the first quarter, played 5 minutes, only took 3 shots. Tough defense against the Thunder. Granted, they benched everybody in that game. But it's Justin Edwards, a young guy playing more, playing well. And the matchup against the Wizards is like as juicy as it gets. I mean, you hover over this matchup here. Now, the first two things we see are both yellow as opposed to green. That's looking at his play type. Spot up, transition, pick and roll ball handler, free throws. Spot up stuff, this is looking at the entire season for Justin Edwards. We see like 40% of his points come via the spot up. That's not been the case recently. If you could filter by specific dates with these play types, which unfortunately NBA.com doesn't let you do, like that's not a props madness thing, it's an NBA.com thing, you would see him do a lot more with the ball in his hands, a lot more pick and roll ball handler, stuff like that. And transition, sixth worst, pick and roll, or free throws, second worst, gets to the line a decent amount. The Wizards, their defensive rating's second worst in the NBA. They allow the fourth most points in the paint in the entire NBA. And you just look at the hover over the matchup here, we see a lot of green. Fourth fastest pace as well, which is important. So I like Justin Edwards over 4.5 first quarter points, -105 odds at bet365. I got it at +100. I'm still good at -105. That's our first bet. Next up, I actually have two bets in this Lakers versus Pacers game. One of them's obvious. You probably already knew I was going to be on this one, but it's Luka Doncic over his first quarter point prop. Now, the odds on this have moved a decent amount. When I locked this in this morning, it was -105, both at Hard Rock and at ESPN Bet. It was also -130 at Flip. Right now, only Hard Rock is giving you the -105 odds. So obviously, if you can use Hard Rock, I would take it at -105. If you can't, I would rather take it at -130 as opposed to 9.5, still paying minus odds, right? Like 8.5 at -130, in my opinion, is better value than 9.5 at -108. If you're going to bump them up another point, I'd rather get that for plus money, which we are not. So Luka, he was traded on to the Lakers, and this was his first game, February 10th. You take out those first 3 games because he barely played 7 minutes in the first quarter. Since then, it's over in 12 of 15 games, averaging 12.2 points per game in the first quarter, which is absolutely insane how much he is scoring in the first quarter. Yes, he's gone over in 6 straight. I don't really care. He goes from like 16, 13, 12, 21, 17, 11. Like you expect a regression. It hasn't come. And his full game point prop at 29.5, there have been some games where he went under, like this game here at 21 points, 22 points, 29, whereas he's gone over more often in the first quarter. Granted, it's 11 of 15 versus 10 of 15. But also we want to look at games specifically with LeBron. Now, LeBron's listed, I think, probable, so he's going to play. With LeBron, it's 7 of 10 games to the over for Luka on his first quarter point prop, and his full game point prop is honestly also 7 out of 10. So if you don't want to mess with some people I know can't bet first quarter markets, I would take his over at 29.5 as well. So I guess I should have mentioned that, and I will moving forward, whether I would take their full game point prop as well. In Luka's case, I would. I would also take Justin Edwards' full game point prop as well, just so that people know. Now, in terms of the matchup, from a play type perspective, it's 8 of 10 in the first quarter because I forgot that we took it over 8.5. Granted, 7 out of 10 in the full game. Anyways, it's not that important, but I did just want to make the distinction. Anyways, in terms of the matchup is good against the Pacers. Like, if you look at just the play type perspective, you don't see a lot of green. Granted, you don't see a lot of red either. You look at players similar to Luka, it's half of them are going over, but it's a lot of them recently. Like, you take out the first 3 that missed, or 4 of the first 5 missed, It's 6 of the last 9, which looks a lot better. And look at the guys. It's guys like Luka who have the ball in their hands a ton. Ant hit it one game, miss it in the next. Dame hit it one game, miss it in the game prior to that. Same thing with Trae Young. Hit it one game, miss it in the game prior to that. Harden hit it in one game, actually both games, and then Trae Young. These are before the All-Star break. But the biggest thing with the Pacers is they don't send help, right? They mostly play guys one-on-one, which is why guys with Luka that have the ball in their hands a lot have success against the Pacers. And if you just look at Luka in this matchup, granted, this is when he was on the Mavericks, so it's not obviously apples to apples. It's a little bit different, but scored 14 points in the first quarter against them earlier this year. Last year, 2 games against the Pacers went over in both of those games. Again, different team, but he's still been just as good in the first quarter, so I have no issues with it, even with LeBron. 8 of 10 games with LeBron, so that's been really good. The other bet that I have in this one, we're getting a little bit, maybe we jumped the shark on the first quarter market. This is LeBron first quarter rebounds. As you can see, the hit rate on this is absolutely insane. 22 of his last 24 games. The price over 1.5, -135 odds. You almost never see me bet anything at minus 135. But in this case, I do think that it's worth it. And if you can't use Bet365, I would still take it at minus 140, which you can get at a couple books. If you cannot get the first quarter market for LeBron, I actually like his full game assist prop a little bit better than his full game rebounds. So if you want some sort of LeBron pivot, it would actually be on the assists. But the official bet that I'm locking in is the rebounds. You look at games with Luka in the lineup, 12 of 13. He missed it in Luka's second game, has cashed it in 11 straight games with Luka in the lineup. And LeBron's only played one game since the trade without Luka. He cashed in that game as well, but we'll only look at games with Luka. And if anybody that knows LeBron, this goes back to his Cavs, his Heat days. He generally is more of a playmaker at the beginning of the game. He doesn't score as much in the first quarter. He kind of lets the game come to him. He gets his teammates involved, which is why you see his first quarter rebounds and his first quarter assists hit at such a high rate, because he's getting more people involved early. Now, I was debating taking a parlay of over 1.5 first quarter assists and over 1.5 first quarter rebounds. That was priced at like plus 210. I don't hate that either. If you really don't want to pay the juice, then I would probably end up suggesting that. Only put a half unit if you're going to do that, because with Luka, that's an 8 of 13 hit rate. So it's still a majority of the time he's going over that, both of these numbers when you combine them together. And it's like, it's plus 210 odds. This is really what it comes down to. Like, he's averaging 2.5 rebounds per game in the first quarter. So it's closer to 3 than it is to 2. And minus 135 is gross, but it's a 92% hit rate. And I just don't think that the books can accurately price this. Like, his over-under rebounds is 1.5, 92% hit rate. His full game, 7.5 at minus 146. Granted, you could get minus 120 at a couple places. Not as good of a hit rate, 53% of the time versus 90% of the time. So this is where I went. LeBron James, first quarter rebounds over 1.5. Again, it's a little bit cheeky, but I went with it. That's play number 3. Next up, I went with two guys that are probably not going to, well, one might surprise you, but this one probably not, because I went with him last game. It's Brook Lopez on the first quarter, over 3.5, minus 115. This is the exact price that I locked it in. You're still able to get it there, minus 115 odds. If you can't use Hard Rock, I'm still good taking it at minus 125 at all these books that have it available. And to answer the question, if you can't bet his first quarter, I would take his full game as well. The biggest thing here is no Damian Lillard. Now, it sucks that Dame ended up having a pretty serious thing with his calf, deep vein thrombosis in his calf. So Dame's going to be out for a while. And Brook Lopez has been much better in games without Dame. You look at the full season, averaging 12.8 points per game. That goes up almost 4 points per game with Dame out. In the first quarter, goes from 3.5 points per game up to almost 5 points per game in the first quarter. And look at that hit rate, 9 of 12 games. He's gone over 3.5 points in the first quarter, including this game right here that we just betted against the Suns. Now, admittedly, I'm hoping that he takes more than 2 shots. It is a little bit scary that he only took 2 shots. Granted, he made both of them, so that still went over. We're hoping for more volume than 2, which is what he's done the majority of the time. Like, if you go through his game log, 6 shots, that's great. 3 shots, but got to the line and took a 3. 5 shots, so 2, but he got to the line. So that one's okay. 3 shots, 4, but he got to the line again. 3 shots, and he missed it in this one. He only made 1 of them. 2 shots, again, we're hoping for more than that. 2 shots again, so at the beginning of the year, closer to 2. 2 here, and then 3, but he got to the line. So recently, his shot volume has been up in the first quarter. It's a phenomenal matchup against the Nuggets. I mean, you go through the play types. Second most points per game via spot up. That's play type number 1 for Brook Lopez in his points. Eighth most points per game to the pick and roll man. That's play type number 2 for where Brook Lopez's points come from. Now, without Dame, he's not going to do as much in the pick and roll, but he's probably going to do more spotting up, and his volume is going to be higher. And you see, 9 of 13, 69%, that's a very nice number, have hit their point prop over against the Nuggets, and these are guys with a similar scoring profile to Brook Lopez. And what I like about this, Vooch, so he went under his point prop last game. He cashed in the first quarter. He was one of our first quarter bets. He cashed, scored 5 points in the first quarter, 8 points the rest of the game. So there are certain guys that start fast. Vooch is definitely one of them. But even for Brolo, if you can't get the first quarter points, I'm still good taking his full game as well. I get the hit rate isn't nearly as good, but I still think that's a solid play. Like, you look at recently, since Dame's been out, the last 3 games, it's over in 2 of 3. In the year 2020, I guess his last 7, he's gone over in 5 of 7. And the play type is really good. And the head-to-head is really good as well. Played the Nuggets earlier this year, scored 22 points the full game, scored 10 points in the first quarter, got to the line 3 times, took 5 shots. All that stuff looks great, and I think Dame played in that game. Yeah, he did. Dame played in that game. Last year, he went over in both games in the first quarter. Dame played in both of these games, and his full game was 1-1 to the over. So one time he hit in his first quarter, but not the full game. But the head-to-head's good. The matchup is good. The increased usage rate without Damian Lillard, all that stuff looks good. So I like this one for Brook Lopez a lot. Over 3.5 first quarter points. And then our last pick of the video, we're heading to this Celtics versus Suns game. And we're not going with the first quarter king that you might think. We're not going with Kristaps Porzingis. We are instead going with Jaylen Brown. Now, Brown missed some time. This was, I think, plus 100 at 5.5. Now it's minus 110. I would still take it there. I'm good with that. Taking it at minus 110 for over 5.5. So a little bit of line movement here. So Jaylen Brown hasn't quite been the first quarter king this year than he was last year. He's still averaging 6.5 points in the first quarter on the entire season. So it's not like he's been bad. Just hasn't quite been the same hit rate as it was last year. But there are two important things here. Number one, no Jason Tatum. I mean, right now he's listed as doubtful. So he's doubtful to play. He's not going to play. Without Jason Tatum, he's only played in, and we took the over 5.5. Yeah, he's only played in 5 games this year without Tatum, and he's only gone over in 3 of the 5. Granted, he's averaging 9 points per game because 16 points and 15 points will help your average a lot. But the most important thing here are the minutes. Look at the first quarter minutes. He played all 12, so the entire first quarter, in all 5 of these games. Every single one, he played all 12 minutes. And even though Porzingis missed a couple of these games, we're going to look at without Tatum, with Porzingis. It's 2 of 3 to the over, and obviously still played all 12 minutes in the first quarter. So part of the reason why JB hasn't been the same first quarter king this year as he was last year was because the Celtics, Mazzulla, changed up their rotations from last year. Brown wasn't playing as much in the first quarter this year compared to last year. That's not the case with Tatum. He's playing all 12 minutes. Now, Brown did miss, 10 days or so with the knee injury. He played last game. He only played 8 minutes in the first quarter, only took 2 shots. Him getting his feet wet, his feet under him, I'm guessing that he's going to play that full 12 minutes in the first quarter. If not, probably 10, I would guess. I'm guessing his floor is probably 10. And the matchup against the Suns is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, 10 of 13 guys, similar to Jaylen Brown, have hit their point prop over. And you go through the list. I mean, it's 2 of 2 since the All-Star break. And, I mean, the guys just smoke the Suns. Even if you go by position, it's 10 of 15. And these are all since the All-Star break, all from February till now. Actually, 14 of these are in March, and it's 10 of 14. And that's just looking at position. Even guys similar to JB smoke their over against the Suns. They're a terrible defense, 5th most points per game in transition. They're bottom in terms of, I should say bottom half in terms of how frequently they foul. They foul at the 12th highest on the year. And then they give up the 6th most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers. Now, they don't give up a lot via spot up, but with no Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown runs a lot more pick and roll. He has the ball in his hands a lot more. So this pick and roll defense is very important for Jaylen Brown. Now, the matchup for KP isn't bad either, but the reason why I chose Jaylen Brown over KP, A, because of the minutes. Jaylen Brown will play most likely the whole first quarter. Kristaps Porzingis most likely will not. His first quarter minutes, that's the full game. Looking at his first quarter minutes, 8, 9, and 8. So he's going to play between 8 and 9 minutes, where Jaylen Brown's going to play between 10 and 12. And the number's higher. You're either paying minus 130 for over 5.5, or you're paying over 6.5, and you're still getting minus money. So, yeah, KP has been way better in the first quarter this year, but the matchup's better for Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's going to play more in the first quarter, and the matchup isn't bad for Porzingis. So if you honestly wanted to take both, I wouldn't blame you for that. Looking at the matchup here, I mean, the over 5.5 is a better hit rate, but again, you're paying minus 130, minus 135 odds, which I did do in a previous pick. But you go through the play types, it's just a little bit better for Jaylen Brown. Like pick and roll man, they're 12th. They're slightly above average via post-ups. Again, the free throws is a thing for him as well. It isn't really until you get down to these lower play types where it looks good for Porzingis, whereas Jaylen Brown's are at the top. But 4 guys have hit the over against the Suns. So again, you really can't go wrong with either of them. I just thought that Brown was a little bit of a better play. So that's where I went with. So those are our 5 official bets. I have a couple leans that I wanted to give you guys as well. This Raptors Nets game is just a total mess. The only really one I wanted to shout out here was Nick Claxton in the first quarter. Granted, you want the over 1.5. The over 2.5, you can see there's a massive difference because that's huge. I mean, one bucket to hit two. It's 100% hit rate with D'Lo, without Cam Thomas, and without Cam Johnson, who are both out. But I'm not touching minus 160. Like, I get that minus 135 was gross enough. I'm not touching 160. If you're okay sacrificing, if you're okay playing those types of odds, I should say, then the play on Nick Claxton over 1.5 first quarter points is very, very good. In this Lakers-Pacers game, the one guy I looked at on the Pacers side, and Halliburton assists, I should say, is a good look as well in the full game, not the first quarter. This was minus 125. It now got bumped up to, or I should say, excuse me, over 9.5 was minus 125. That moved to either minus 135 or got bumped to 10.5. Now, 10.5 for plus 114 isn't terrible. Halliburton has been an absolute monster from an assist perspective in his last 11 games. He's had 10 or more in all 11. His potentials are insane, averaging 5 more potentials in his last 11 games than he is on the entire season. And he's done it in the hardest matchups you can think of. The Rockets, very tough matchup for assists, had 15, had 20 potentials. The Bucks, generally not a good matchup for assists because they don't give up a lot via spot up. 10 assists on 19 potentials, 15 assists on 26 potentials. The Timberwolves, same thing. So Halliburton on the assists, like if you can't play these first quarter props, I would definitely take Halliburton assists over 10.5 plus 114 odds. A first quarter one that I liked for the Pacers was Nembhard. I ended up not going with him, but he's been pretty good recently. Like he's gone over in 13 of his last 20 games. He only needs to hit a 3, score 2 buckets, and that gets you the over. It's over 2.5, 4+ money. He has missed it in 3 straight, so you do get a nice positive regression if you're into that. The reason why I didn't bet it was because he's actually much better without Halliburton. If you look at games without Halliburton, 6 of 7 to the over. So I think that even though it looks good with Halliburton, I like it a lot better without him. The volume is a lot more without him, where it's a little bit spotty with him. So I decided to hold off on it, but I don't think that's a terrible look. And then another one that I looked at, but I couldn't quite get there, was in this Bucks-Nuggets game, was Christian Brown. His first quarter point prop, I mean, on this season, it's pretty good. You look at the year, 60% of the time going over 3.5 is pretty good. The reason why I didn't bet him, there's 2. He's actually better with Jokic in the lineup. So you look at games with Jokic that, the hit rate is still roughly 60%, but it's been a lot better recently. Like his last 27 games, 19 of 27, specifically with Jokic. And he's also a lot better without Aaron Gordon as well. You look at games with Jokic without Aaron Gordon, 15 of his last 23, 65% hit rate, and just games without Aaron Gordon in general, 19 of his last 27. With Aaron Gordon, it's not bad. It's just not as good. 16 of 27 with Aaron Gordon. Granted, that's actually 16 of his last 22. But with Aaron Gordon, without Jokic, it still is good. It's only 1 of 3, I should say. It's only a 3-game sample size. But the volume, 1 shot, 2 shots, 1 shot. So that's why I ended up holding off on Christian Brown. It's a tiny sample size. Aaron Gordon's currently questionable. If Aaron Gordon gets ruled out, then I'm definitely hitting this one. If the line doesn't change that much, because without Jokic and Aaron Gordon, it's 6 of 7 games. So the most important thing here is Aaron Gordon. It's a little bit better with Jokic, but the person that's going to make the most dramatic difference is Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is questionable. If he gets ruled out, I like to pivot to Christian Brown, first quarter points over 3.5. I also like his full game as well. If you can't get the first quarter, his full game looks good as well without those guys in the lineup. If Aaron Gordon does play, I know a lot of people like his assists, and I don't blame them. His last 2 games without Jokic, 8 assists on 13 potential, 4 assists on 10 potential. And then even the one game he went under, this one was bad. 0 of 4. We don't like that. 13 potential assists. So if you're looking at games without Jokic, potential assists, 13, 10, and 13. So this is a good play if Gordon plays and Jokic doesn't. And Jokic is doubtful, so he's unlikely to play as well. So 5 official bangers plus some leans for you guys to lock in. Real quick, we'll do a recap and then we'll get out of here. The 5 official bangers that we have: LeBron over first quarter rebounds. It's our first quarter rebound prop. Let's see how that goes. And then it's Brolo over first quarter points over 3.5. Luka over his first quarter point props, 8.5. JB over 5.5 first quarter points. And JE, Justin Edwards, over 4.5 first quarter points. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. The links in the description of the video, as well as the pinned comment that I want you to check out. One of them is a link to Props Madness. The other one is a link to my Tails account where I send all my plays out. It just gets you everything that I'm playing. It gets them sent to you early. So if you don't always have time to watch the YouTube videos, or you just don't always feel like it, you don't always want to, but you still want a tail, the Tails account is for you, hence the name Tails. Here's how it comes over. I kind of list like what we're playing here, NBA Player Prop Wednesday. With baseball coming up, I think these headers are more important because you want to know like what bets for which, what number play I'm on, and then if it, the last play, the units. So this one, LeBron over rebounds was 1.35. A little bit of a write-up, just to kind of give you an idea of why I'm on it. So to give you some logic behind it, and then a screenshot of the bet to make sure that it actually exists. So if you're interested, check that out. It's only $10 a month, 2 cups of coffee if you want to get everything sent to you early. If you don't, that's fine. I won't be offended, but that's all we got. So I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Everybody bet responsibly and have a good one.